one.
All right, welcome into the Fourth Floor, an extension of Five on the Floor on the Five Reasons Sports Network. This is when we do the pregame show prior to every game. You saw our first sponsor, Biscayne Bay Brewing, the official beer of the Five Reasons Sports Network, the Miami Marlins, and there's another partner that they're going to have here pretty soon that I think people will be excited about. So, again, check out Biscayne Bay Brewing. They will be sponsoring the Marlins Lager Marlins on Tap program on our network as well, on our YouTube channel, Support Miami Craft Beer. Ask for it wherever you're at, whether it's Publix or various restaurants. They're getting it more and more places. And, of course, I like the IPA, but again, check out the Marlins Lager, the Pale Ale, and Sideline Pass Beer. All right, let's get to our other sponsor. That's our friend Lynette over at A Aggressive. This is an insurance broker agency that's been servicing South Florida for over 15 years. They offer auto insurance, homeowner insurance, condo insurance, life insurance, and also offer retirement programs. They give free notary services to all clients. They represent the leading insurance carriers in South Florida. If you got a bad driving record, no problem. No driver, not even the worst one, is refused. They also do free phone quotes. Here is the information. It's insurancebylynette.com. That's insurancebylynette.com, or go on Instagram to @aggressive_insurance. All right, let's get to today's episode. You see the phone number there as well, 954-581-8800. All right, let's get to today's episode. We got the usual crew here. Let's go widescreen. Thank you, Alejandro. Appreciate that. Didn't comb my hair again. Trying to go for a haircut tonight. We've got Ricky J. Mark next to him. We've got Brady Hawk. We've got Greg Sylvander. We've got Jonathan Ramlakan. Let's get right to it. The big news today, Brady, Bam Adebayo, as kind of expected. We didn't think he'd make the trip because why go to the second game? And then again, the Orlando game, missed another game. I thought there was a possibility they may hold him out longer, though, because they're on a winning streak. Not because you don't need Bam, but just kind of keep him out as long as things are going well. No reason to risk further pain or injury. But Spo says he's ready, right?
Yeah, right. And also the other thing is they're playing a back-to-back, so I kind of figured he would stay out this one and play tomorrow. But that's not the case. He says he's ready. He's wanted to play for the last week, even though he said from pain 1 to 10, his pain was a 10 with the tendonitis. But he is playing. He said he's not going to, he's going to communicate it with him throughout to make sure he's all right and go through it. And he's not going to play him any, expanded stretch of like 12 minutes. So there's going to be, a little, not a minutes restriction, but they're just going to look out for it throughout.
No Kevin Love tonight. Again, that sort of goes without saying with the Cavs. But, Greg, the backcourt, Cavs are relying on the backcourt a little bit this year, but they're 30th in the league in most categories. The rebuild seems to be taking forever there. It does seem like if they don't have LeBron James, they're hopeless, and that's sort of continued this season. But there are always random scrub heat killers. So what worries you tonight?
Oh, gosh, I'm sure I found a couple, but they actually have some pretty functional players, and I'm not 100% sure who will be active and not, so forgive me there. But, Colin Sexton has had great games this year. Darius Garland has had moments. Cedi Osman, Larry Nance Jr. Heat fans should, tune in to just kind of maybe get an idea of what he looks like, because he's been a Heat trade target. And the last guy is Jared Allen, who I think kind of felt like a throw-in that deal now around him. So I kind of like what Cleveland has going on, which is weird of me to say. Obviously, it's still Cleveland. They're going to mess it up somehow, and they won't be good. But my random scrub heat killer for tonight is Taurean Prince.
That's a good one. By the way, Marco Romo posting here. He's got a Twitter account again, but he also did the Know Your Enemy on the Cavs. So if you want to learn more about the Cavs, go to the YouTube channel and check that out. Jonathan, let's go to you on this. The Jim VP crusade has sort of begun, but there is more help now, right? Hero finally kind of took over a quarter. We hadn't seen that in a while. We saw Dragic do it the previous game, although he really struggled in the last game. And then you've got Bam coming back. How does Jimmy's role change here?
I think it's still going to be pretty similar. He's still our alpha, but I think maybe his rebounding and assists might go down a little bit since you have Bam in the game. He won't need to necessarily lead that part. We still probably will see him, be like our main point guard, who's leading the offense. But I think we're going to see obviously a little more of that the Bam dribble handoff happen, some of those actions, and maybe since he's been out for a little bit and had the game taken away from him, maybe Bam comes back more aggressive. So we might see something different out of Bam tonight. And then out of, from Hero and Goran coming off the bench, the good thing is at least one of those two guys are going to score. So both of them don't necessarily need to be, phenomenal threats. We just need to have one of those two guys off the bench. So I see Jimmy having a pretty similar game, filling up the stat sheet like usual, couple of steals, maybe 5 or 6 assists, 5 or 6 rebounds, 20 plus points, but maybe not to the point where he was doing without Bam.
So yes, as the commenters are saying, I think that's our guy Philly. They do have a D Wade, but it's Dean Wade. I think Greg's lifting his finger, but it's going very slow right now. Oh, Nikias is back. Look at that. Yes, Greg. I want to go to Ricky, but Greg, do you have something to say because he's moving in slow motion? No.
We lost Greg. Greg, get out and come back.
It's always me. That's why I wanted to prove that it's not always me. This one time. That is a very comfortable looking chair, Jonathan. I would agree. I don't know if we want to reveal exactly what it is that you're sitting on at this stage, but it's like you're a king there in that chair, right? So perhaps we'll have more information on that in the coming days, right?
Absolutely. It took me like 15 minutes to build, and it's the most comfortable chair I sat on. If I showed you guys the chair I sat on before, it's a squeaky piece of hell. Like I can't even turn side to side without it squeaking. I have to make sure I remain completely still. So the chair I got right now is a pretty solid one.
I mean, 15 minutes. I could assemble a chair in half of that, a third of that, perhaps.
Sure. Yeah.
I think without any issues. In fact, there should be demonstrations of me putting chairs together that just that other people can follow for generations.
On
Ricky,
Comedy Central.
You, because I'm not letting you off the hook here. You basically picked against the Heat pretty much in every game of this winning streak. So when does it end? When are you comfortable with where they're at? Will you pick them tonight? Will you pick them tonight at home against the Cavs?
No.
You have to.
No, and here's the thing. Here's why. Okay. This is every definition of a trap game that you could possibly come up with. More so than the game against the Hawks that Miami actually ended up losing to, that I said they would win, ironically enough. Okay. This Cavs team is terrible. They have one of the worst records in the league. However, Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, Jarrett Allen, Larry Nance, these are all players that if you're a smart Heat fan, you want on your team. These guys work hard. And if you're not careful, they will sneak up on you and take a win from you, whether it's close or whether it's by 10 after the team pretty much gives up in the fourth quarter. That's the Cleveland side. The Heat side, Bam is back tonight. And for most fans, that's great. That's exciting. Yes, wonderful. Bam is back. But what Bam are you getting? You're getting a Bam that's been dealing with a knee issue for the last week and a half, who was already dealing with issues of being tentative to begin with. What Bam are you getting? Yes, Jimmy's going to bring it. We know he's going to bring it every night, but you need more than Jimmy. Is Tyler Hero going to show up tonight? He didn't appear to suffer too much from the shoulder injury last game, but as someone who's hurt his shoulder before, you might be good today, but you might be bad tomorrow, the day after. This might be a bad Tyler game. Is Duncan Robinson going to be right? Is he going to be ready to play tonight? I'm not sure. He could shoot 12 threes. He could shoot 12 threes and only make one of them. I could go on.
You would pick Cleveland's G League. Does Cleveland have a G League team right now? I feel like they're all on the roster right now.
They are a G League team.
They are the G League team.
All right. So let's get back to it. Let's get back. Ricky is playing 3D chess, I think. Greg, let's get to this. The Kelly Olynyk effect. Kelly as center seems to be more comfortable than Kelly as 4, right?
Yeah.
So,
it appears so.
How does he? I mean, what are we expecting from? Is he going to be as aggressive as he's been without Bam? I think Greg's frozen again.
That's a good question. I would hope that at least from 3, I would hope so. But this is the thing where Kelly is truthfully a third big, and he's still a third big, even.
Now,
but you lost me again.
We lost you again.
We'll
go to Brady. Brady, can Kelly be as aggressive? You should have asked that question a couple of times.
Yeah, I think he will, just because I think that's the most intriguing part of this game. I think that if they can continue to do these sets with Butler and Olynyk and allow Bam to get in different spots on the floor and, not have to rely. He's obviously an unselfish player, so he's going to give up the ball. He's going to set the screens. He's going to do everything like that. But if you can get him in spots to say, go score the basketball, give Jimmy a second threat to attack the basket and put pressure on the rim because that's what they've lacked, and allow Olynyk at times to take some, playmaking abilities to, settle them down. And as Olynyk said the other night, they feel a lot more comfortable when Bam goes to the bench that they have a guy that and Olynyk and Jimmy that they can settle the offense with, even though the offense has not been great. So I do think that's pretty promising that if they can continue this and allow Bam to, thrive in a scoring role, I think that can take their offense, improve the offense after the latest struggles.
Christian, we appreciate the super chat money. It's going directly to Greg and me for wireless, and also to me for assembling chairs. So I can hire somebody
Nikki,
to
which
assemble it.
one?
Even though the
Which
chair
one of you is
that I
named
got,
Nikki?
What Jonathan's sitting on is the easiest chair to assemble you've ever seen. Still, if anybody wants to send somebody so I can hire somebody from thumbtack.com to do it, I'd appreciate it. All right, we talked about Kelly here. Let's go to the trade stuff here for a second, and let's pivot back to LaMarcus Aldridge. Your report today, Greg, that really the Heat, and I've heard the same, they don't really want to trade Avery Bradley. Like, it's a little bit of a game of chicken here. They will. They've gotten offers, they've gotten interest in him, but they would rather not have to include him for LaMarcus Aldridge if possible. If they're going to include him, they'd rather it be for something else. Does anybody expect Avery Bradley to be a big positive factor for this team when he comes back? That the minutes will be there and there's a chance that he's going to close. Is anybody anticipate that?
I think in the playoffs
Yes.
he could be important for sure. You know what I mean? If he's able to stay healthy in the playoffs and we run into somebody like a Brooklyn or even like a Boston with a Kemba Walker, Kemba Walker isn't the most efficient guy, but you throw somebody like Avery Bradley on him and then he becomes a really inefficient guy, and that just helps us a lot. So Avery Bradley, although he's not the most healthy guy right now, if he can be healthy for us in the playoffs, I think he has a role that nobody on this team else can really cover. So I do feel like he has a role on his team, especially come playoff time.
What do you
I
see
agree.
the role as, Brady?
Say it again.
What do you see the role as?
I see it as, wait, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
your
Yeah.
router's fine. We never have a
Well, okay, so here's the
Live
thing.
guy.
Right. So I agree with Ram Lacan, because here's the thing. For those of you Heat fans that are unsure about what a healthy Avery Bradley can bring to this team, go back and watch that stretch that Miami went on when they pretty much put the game out of reach against New Orleans earlier this season. He was on the floor for that. This is a guard-oriented league, and every player is worth 6 fouls. Avery Bradley is actually a good defender. Name me a good defender on the wings for Miami, not named Jimmy Butler. Tyler Hero tries hard. Duncan Robinson is hilariously bad and can't box out. Gabe Vincent, when he's playable, is trying to learn how to play like Avery Bradley, but I'm pretty sure we haven't seen him in like at least a week. And that leaves who else? Kendrick Nunn, who's been admirable, but as I've been saying all season, water meets his level. I'm not sure if he's going to be a consistent defender just yet. He's doing well, but I don't think he's there. So that leaves Avery Bradley along the wings, and we're going to need him in the playoffs. Eric Spoelstra and anybody associated with #Heat culture will always pay a premium for defensive players, especially in the NBA playoffs.
It's
John
true.
had a good stat that was on the 5 on the Floor account today. Cleveland gives up a really, really healthy percentage of above the break threes tonight. It could be a Goran game in that regard. I don't know that I trust Tyler with that quite at this point. Be consistent, but we could have a little bit of a Goran game because we know that he likes getting to that spot. All right, we got Alex at the game tonight. He will arrive at some point, I am sure. And we know Ricky's thoughts here. Are we going to be dealing with? Does this have to be a Jimmy takeover game tonight? I mean, we're going to be halfway through the fourth quarter, Greg, and you and I are going to be talking about what the hell do we pot on because it's the same deal. They needed Jimmy to take over. Can they avoid that tonight?
I think they do. I think this is one of those games where the offense clicks, the 3-pointers drop, and they get to sit Jimmy late. Heat win by 12.
Mm-hmm.
I like a double-digit win tonight, too. Anybody else? I mean, I know Ricky's thoughts on this. He's provided them. Brady, Jonathan, Alejandro, is this a double-digit win tonight?
I think it needs to be just due to the fact that it's a back-to-back and you're playing a pretty good Memphis team that you don't want to allow this one to go late and then have to go into another game after Bam missed this much time. So I think this is the game that is very necessary for that to happen.
The Winslow rematch.
I think this should be a big, Kendrick Nunn game. His importance to the offense, I think, is a bit understated because In wins, he's shooting about 39% from three, and in losses, he's shooting about 29% from three. So I do think that when he's hitting in the last 2 games, he's not been as consistent as he usually is, or as he has been over this win streak. That I think if he can get back on track without going 3 straight games, struggling a bit, I think it's important.
All right, a couple questions that came in here. Yes, I was alive for the Knickerbocker era. Okay.
They're still called that. Then that's what the Knicks are short for. Come on, people.
Well, there you go. Okay, so we'll
Right,
check
what are you
that
doing?
out. That's right, the Knickerbocker. And the other thing is, I can't remember. There was another question that came in here. I'm not sure. So the question came in here, but there were so many comments along. All right, we'll be back. Oh, here it is. That was the question. Why did they cut Pat Beverly during the Big 3 era? Because they wanted to keep Eddie House. That's why. They wanted the veteran guy. They wanted to free Eddie House. Turned out to be a mistake, but it was the kind of team they had at the time. LeBron wanted to keep.
They thought the spot up shooting was going to be a more useful skill around those guys.
That's exactly right. That's our Big 3 question tonight. Thanks to Jonathan and his lovely chair. Thanks to Ricky for, again, bringing the foil here. Thanks to Brady for actual real information. Thanks to Alejandro for producing. Thanks to me for nothing. But again, if you want to see me assemble a chair,
Comedy Central. It's Thursday night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Hey, Coach, we'll get started with Tim Reynolds.
Hi, Eric. Being that Bam is available, I know you don't tend to play him crazy minutes anyway, but is he available for his full allotment? Is that the plan?
Yeah, he's available to our discretion, and there'll be a lot of communication between myself, Jay, and Bam. He easily could play over 30 minutes. What I'm going to try to limit is those big blocks of segments. He will not play 12 straight minutes in this game tonight. If I can get him in and out quicker, so he doesn't have to even deal with fatigue, I think that would be, the appropriate plan. And then we'll take it from there. He's ready to go. He's been ready for over a week. We all feel really good about this plan. He's been putting in a great deal of work behind the scenes, and hopefully we can just put it behind us.
And we saw Avery was questionable and isn't available. Does that just mean he's close, or was there a little setback?
No, I think I was surprised he was listed as questionable. He hasn't done a full-scale equivalent of a practice yet, but he is doing a lot of work. We're all encouraged, by the progress he's making. He's not quite there yet.
Thank you, Eric.
Yep. Next we'll go to Cavs sideline reporter Angel Gray.
Thank you so much, Coach. Thanks for the time. With this being the first time that you're facing the Cavs, we'll be seeing Jared Allen as well as Bam. If you could speak on the evolution of the big and which you are going to see tonight from the bigs as well.
I think it's a really interesting time, to be a center in this league, because there's a lot of diversity in skill sets. Bam is really a point center for us. Allen is a really unique player. We've seen it. We've been able to see it the last a few years in Brooklyn, where he was really effective as a drop big, knowing how to play angles and protect the rim. He's a great lob vertical threat on the other end. He gets you extra possessions on the glass. You can see why Cleveland really sought out a player like him as a young big. He's improved each year. All right, next we'll go with Marla Rittenauer with the Akron Beacon Journal.
Yeah, Coach, sorry for a sort of off-the-wall question, but LeBron, becoming a part owner in the Red Sox, did you ever talk to him about those kind of goals?
No, but you knew that, he has a great eye and passion for business. And he doesn't set any boundaries on where he can take it. He was a big Yankees fan, so I think that makes it fun.
The other thing, though, just for the diversity aspect, he's the first African-American, he and Maverick in this group. Do you see that as kind of a step forward, for everyone?
Well, I think it's great that he can expand, his platform to be able to get into businesses in different ways and to continue expand, think bigger. And the more people say, no, that might, is not possible, then he's going to be even more motivated to make it happen. But plus it's fun, probably a lot of fun, for him, to be involved now and as a part owner in two different sports. He's obviously a sports enthusiast, but he's got great business acumen.
And next we'll go back to Angel Greg.
Thank you. Coach, you guys have been on a pretty impressive stretch the last few games. What has led to that success? And then just what have you seen in the guys as far as them holding themselves to a standard, even in that stretch of adversity?
Yeah, it's easy for people just to point to the success. We were rolling up our sleeves, and really starting to develop the proper habits when we were rolling out 7 or 8 guys, for games. And when we were dealing with all the adversity of COVID and injuries, that's where you start to really develop some competitive character out of your group. And we saw the steps, appropriate steps being made long before it started to change in the record. And even now, like, those steps don't guarantee anything. Like, this league is a extremely challenging, tough league. It's a really competitive. You have to really commit to that daily process, and it's much easier said than done.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, that was Eric Spoelstra earlier today, talking about tonight's matchup against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now let's listen to some, and thank you for all the comments that are coming along here as we do this pregame show. Let's listen now to some of the guys after they won against Chicago the last game, right? So Chicago, was it? No, it wasn't Chicago. So let's go and listen to Jimmy Butler. No, let's go first with Jimmy Butler. That's going to be our first one tonight. Let's going to listen to what he said right after the game.
All right, Jimmy, we'll get started with Ira Winderman.
Hey, Jimmy. Does it feel dangerous playing with fire like this, or does this sort of build something for the team that no matter what the challenge is, you guys seemingly have continued to find a way?
Just find a way to win. Good team effort on both ends of the floor. At the end of the day, that's the reason that we play. I'm happy that we got a win on the road. We get to go home in a good state of mind, and hopefully keep it going.
Does the team, obviously you won 10 of 11, so the standings tell us one thing, but does it feel like you're coalescing as much as the record shows into something? I mean, 10 of 11, pretty special.
Don't do that. Come on now.
Coming together.
What the hell does that mean?
I mean, you won 10 of 11, so you're obviously showing how good you can be, I would think.
Well, you said a big word. You confused me.
Oh, coalescing. That means coming together, congealing, gelling.
You could have just said that. Yeah, I think we're coming together well. Everybody's just becoming more and more comfortable and just focusing on the things that we can control. I think that the more that we're out there getting reps, there's not that much time to practice. The more everybody's comfortable, and we're just having fun. Fun is the main thing, but don't get me wrong, fun is a big part of winning.
And the defensive thing, the steals and sort of that end of the court for you. Were you reading their offense? Was it something off the scouting report, or is that just instinctive? Thank you, Jimmy.
I mean, being in the right places, good things happen. Get your hand on a loose ball, get on the floor for one in the air. That's just part of the game. Everybody is playing with their hands in the gaps. Then you just make a play. If you don't get it, might get yelled at by coach, or hopefully a teammate got your back, but it's just part of the game.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we have Anthony Chang.
Hey, Jimmy. Tyler and Andre played the entire fourth quarter tonight, and it seems like that's kind of a regular thing where they're playing most of the fourth quarters this season. What do those two guys bring late in games that you guys trust them so much down the stretch?
Everything. What do you want them to do? Pass the ball, score the ball, defend, rebound. They do it on both ends of the floor. And those are the guys that you're going to need later in the game, later in the year, to win these type of games. Tyler hit some big shots. Dre hit some big shots, big rebounds. Got some stops. It's hard to take guys off the floor whenever they can do everything.
All right, next up we have Clay Ferraro with WPLG Channel 10.
Hey, Jimmy, how much did you enjoy winning that opening tip twice?
Yeah, I needed that. He got me whenever we played at home. So I've been working on my technique. They tried to cheat me out the first one, but I got me one. Me and Spo talked about it before the game. He just was like, hey, impact winning every aspect of the game starts with the jump ball.
Next we have Brandon Tobin with 790 The Ticket.
Jimmy, how have you liked how your young teammates have bounced back from the bad part of the season and the adjustments the league has made to them, just the work they put in to get you to this spot?
I don't think there was a bad part to the season, just a couple mishaps. Not having a full roster, not being healthy, all of that good stuff. I'm not going to say it's bad. You just see what you're made out of whenever you hit a little bit of adversity. They've handled it well, stayed in the lab, stayed working on their game, stayed watching the film. That's all you can ask from them, like I always say. They're continually going to get better, and they're going to be the reason that we win a lot of games.
All right, Jimmy, that's it. Appreciate it.
Right, that was Jimmy Butler a couple of nights ago. They were facing the Orlando Magic that night. Had a little bit of a mistake there. So thank you guys for joining us. Let's go and listen now to Kelly Olynyk, and then we're going to listen to Tyler Hero, and then we'll see who is in the starting lineup tonight for the Miami Heat. So let's go ahead and listen to Kelly Olynyk.
Hey, Nick, hold on one sec.
Hey, Kelly, we'll get started with Ira Winderman.
Appreciate it.
Hold on one sec.
Oh, okay, listen.
Just...
Now he looks perfect.
All right.
Yeah, there we go.
Even with the mask, you look good.
Why is it so grainy?
St. Patrick's Day, right?
Yeah. Is it?
No, 3 days still.
Oh.
Kelly, either how much fun is it or how harrowing is it to keep playing games down to the wire like these and keep finding a way to pull it out?
I mean, it's fun when you find a way to pull it out. Earlier in the season, we were finding a way on the other side of it. Obviously, it's good to build that up right now. Kind of get these games under your belt. Where you're having to execute in the fourth quarter, having to make plays, having to get stops, and keep building on that. And obviously, it's best to learn these lessons while coming out on top as well.
You play with a lot of really good players, and now you're playing with Jimmy Butler. What he is doing at closing times in these recent games, does it sort of just put him up there with everyone?
Yeah, he's unbelievable. The way he just controls the game and, kind of all facets. I have, the utmost respect for him and everything he does, on and off the court, how he prepares himself. And, you can see, he's, one of the best in the league and he proves it night in and night out.
And yourself, we always hear from players, give me consistent minutes, give me a consistent role, and I can consistently produce. Is that sort of how you feel about your play recently? Is that sort of, where you're going to be, what you're going to be, what's going to be asked, and you just have that comfort?
Yeah, definitely. I think we kind of are in a good groove right now where we know our roles. We know what is expected of everybody, where everybody's, kind of moving on the floor and where shots are coming from and, what we need from everybody. And I think that's, what's giving us success right now is continuing that.
Thank you, Kelly.
Next, we have Anthony Chen.
Hey, Kelly, I know the Heat's always going to preach defense, but last year I think you guys finished in the middle of the league defensively. Last month and a half or so, you guys are top of the league as far as defense. What would you point to as the reason behind this kind of huge improvement you guys have made on the end of the court?
I mean, that's tough. I mean, I think it's kind of just, we didn't have a lot of time. Obviously the off season and making some moves, and we had basically an abrupt training camp. Preseason, we had a bunch of guys in and out the lineup. We didn't have a lot of continuity, and I think it's just getting guys playing back together. Trusting each other on both ends of the floor. It's not like our schemes or anything is vastly different than it was at the start, but I think we're coming together and, we're playing, as a whole, and, covering for each other, more dialed in now to game plans and, assignments and all that kind of stuff. And, we're kind of playing our brand of basketball that we need to play and kind of making it so that we dictate to others rather than having, other people dictate us.
And one follow-up on that, what have you noticed about the way you guys have kind of switched different coverages in the middle of the game, whether it's, man to zone or just full court press? Like how has that kind of impacted opponents when you throw different looks at them, repeatedly throughout the game?
Yeah, I mean, it just gets people out of rhythm, kind of take them out of what they want to do, whether it's certain sets or certain guys in certain situations, just want to keep people on their toes and make sure they're not, kind of getting in a groove on you, because when they can, people in this league can, do some serious damage.
Thanks, Kelly.
Next we have Tim Reynolds.
Kelly, when things were really dark at like 7 and 14 or whatever it was, how worried were you that it wasn't going to turn around?
I don't think we ever thought it wasn't going to turn around. We knew we were a better team than we had shown, a better team than our record. We just had to, it wasn't going to come easy. And I think maybe, we thought it was going to be kind of given to us a little bit, after the year we had last year, regular season, playoffs, finals. We kind of thought we could, kind of walk through, the first few months of the season and, that our first couple months, and that wasn't the case. And I think, obviously, like I said, with the continuity, the people in and out of the lineup, we had a bunch of young guys there just playing for 2 weeks because of protocols, all different stuff. So it was tough. And I think, obviously we were sitting in a tough spot that nobody thought we'd be in. And I think, that kind of helped us, it kind of gave us lit a fire under us, gave us a push, and we needed it. And now you're seeing us come together on both ends of the floor, come together, as a team, as a whole. And, it's fun to play now, and it's fun to see.
And forgive me if you were asked this a moment ago, but my internet went out for a second on me. Did you, in the off season or even in season so far, did you put an emphasis on just better finishing around the rim? Because I think you're shooting around the basket this year, I think, is a career high, or at least close to a career high. Is that a byproduct of something?
Yeah, I don't really have an answer for that. I don't know. I would love to say that I worked on it, but I think it's just one of those things where, the floor is just a lot more space this year. And it's, it's more, cutting, kind of that kind of stuff. And we're kind of focused on, I don't take any kind of mid-range twos anymore, I guess. It's all either right at the basket or threes and stuff. So I think, maybe that's driving the percentage up a little bit. I'm not sure, but, hopefully it stays, up. I never knew that was the thing.
And finally, one more thing. Your Zags are the #1 overall seed.
Nice.
Discuss.
Yeah, I mean, that's, obviously deservingly so, undefeated, right? I didn't see the bracket or the path, but, good for them. Ever since we went #1, my year, they've just, churned out, basically #1 teams almost every year, consecutively. It's been unbelievable, what they've been able to do over there. And, once one person does it or one team does it, it's like, now it's, it can happen. And, they believe in themselves, and, everybody believes in them. They got a great team with lots of depth, a lot of guys who are really, really good players. They got experience. They got guards, they got bigs, they got coaching. It's going to be fun to watch. And, like I said, I haven't seen the bracket at all, but, I'm excited for them, and, I believe they can do it.
Thanks, Kale.
Next, we have Josh Moser with WSBN Channel 7.
Hey, KO, are these in-state games against the Magic becoming a rivalry?
Yeah, I mean, I think, obviously we play them, 4 or 5, maybe sometimes 6 times a year with all the preseason and stuff. It's, you get used to play them. And, obviously, when we come and play in this gym, there's a lot of Heat fans in this gym, for a lot of times as well. And, I'd say it's, it's getting up there. Those games are always tough, hard-fought battles, on both ends of the floor. And, they always play us tough, so it's, it's good to come in here and get a win and continue that.
Next, we have Brady Hawk with 5 Reasons Sports.
Hey, Kelly. Since Bam's been out, you've run a lot more sets with Jimmy. Do you think those type of actions can benefit Bam when he returns to be in different spots at times?
Yeah, I mean, I think Bam is a super versatile player, and obviously, me and Jimmy have had a great connection over these past games while he's been out. Just trying to pick up the slack because there's obviously a big hole that when Bam leaves this lineup that we need to fill, and for us, I mean, obviously it's been good, but it also if we know that there's some success there, some chemistry there, and it can also serve as a time where we can be on the floor and we can give Bam a rest and make sure that he's good to go when he needs breaks in the game.
Next we have Cristo Saltos.
Hello, Kelly. Congratulations on the win. I would like to ask you, what is the most special part to play alongside Jimmy? And about the team, in the last month you play much better. You are above 500. What is the biggest difference and the biggest improvement on your game as a team?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, playing next to Jimmy, he's an all-star. He's one of the best players in the league. Kind of MVP, caliber player, definitely for us. And it's fun to play against that or play alongside someone with that. And the other thing is just how fired up he is and how competitive he is. It's fun to play with guys who have a will to win as high as his, and just that that burning passion and love for the game of basketball. You feed off that, and for us, he's kind of the head of the snake, and kind of makes us go. So it's fun, and you kind of just rally around that.
All right, thanks, Kelly. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Right, that was Kelly Olynyk after the Miami Heat won 102-97 against the Orlando Magic a couple of nights ago. This is the starting lineup for tonight. Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, Kelly Olynyk, and Bam Adebayo. Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, Kelly Olynyk, and Bam Adebayo. This is the closest the Miami Heat has been from playing the exact or the best starting five that we think they can have, or at least in my opinion. So Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, Kelly Olynyk, and Bam Adebayo. That's the starting five for tonight against the Cleveland Cavaliers. The game should be starting here in about 20 so minutes. So let's go and keep listening to some of the Miami Heat players before we go. And now let's listen to Tyler Hero, what he said right after that game against the Orlando Magic.
And we'll begin with Tim Reynolds.
Tyler, how close were you to not being able to go, or what was the situation with the shoulder?
Not too close. It was a game time decision, but I really wanted to play. Finish up this road trip, on a strong note, and get out there and help the team win. So, I'm glad I ended up playing, and just gonna continue to get treatment on my shoulder and my neck.
How frustrating has this year been for you? Because you're spending probably more time in the training room than you ever have in your life. How is it tough to stay stay up mentally when you're dealing with a ton of aches and pains that probably you're not used to?
Yeah, it definitely is a lot. No one likes being hurt. No one likes missing games. And I'm an ultra competitor. I love to compete and be out there to help the guys, no matter what. So, it hurts me sometimes to be able to not be able to go out there and play.
Thanks, Tyler. See you Tuesday.
Next, we have Ira Winderman.
Hey, Tyler. Is it fun playing with fire because you guys keep finding a way to pull it out, or does it feel a little bit treacherous out there to keep having these games and having to dig maybe a little deeper than you thought you might have to?
Every game is different. Different, situations, different lineups, different rotations. But whatever it is, we have to, like we did tonight, come to the fourth quarter, we have to, gut it out and do whatever we can to get the win.
Often a player will say he just needs one game to get back on track and back feeling himself again. Is this the kind of game that maybe might let you break out from some of the recent struggles, or was that more a product of the injuries?
Definitely a little bit of injuries. I've been in and out of the lineup for the whole year. People know what I'm capable of, so once I'm in rhythm and playing how I play, people know what I can do.
Thank you, Tyler.
Next, we have Josh Moser with WSBN Channel 7.
Tyler, these in-state games against Orlando seem to be really hard fought. How much of the series is starting to become a rivalry?
I don't think it's always a rivalry. I think coming into Orlando, and when they come to us, it's an in-state game, and you always want to be able to have bragging rights, and it was a big win for us tonight. I think the first game we were here, they ended up beating us, so it's always good to be able to be the in-state team.
Thank you.
All right, next we have Brady Hawk with 5 Reasons Sports.
Hey, Tyler. Looking at KZ getting some extra playing time now, what do you feel has been the biggest improvement since last year to now that you've seen on the floor from him?
So much. He's continuing every day to just put in the work. Ever since he got drafted here, we were drafted together, and he puts the work in, every single day, whether it's weight room, training room, on the court. He's always continuing to put the work in, and he's going to be really good.
All right, Tyler, that's it. Thank you.
Right, that was Tyler Hero. You saw, you heard, you listened to the question from our man Brady Hawk. He was there. He's always there in the video conferences. So thank you very much for joining us for the pregame show. Thank you to our friend Rene Herrera for saying hi. Have a great night. All of you enjoyed the game tonight. Again, it should be starting here in around 20 minutes. Miami Heat against the Cleveland Cavaliers. It should be an easy win for the Heat, but we'll see what happens. This is the starting lineup for tonight. If you're just getting here and you couldn't see it before, it's Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, Kelly Olynyk, and Bam Adebayo from our friend Brian that are just getting here. Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, Kelly Olynyk, and Bam Adebayo. That's going to be the starting 5 for the Miami Heat tonight. So thank you very much for joining us for the pregame show. Remember, we're going to be having the live score up here in the YouTube channel in case you want to just watch what's going on and see what the score looking like if you can't really watch the game. And we're going to be back right after the last second of the game for the post-game show, the post-up on 5 Reasons. That's going to be here live as soon as the game's over. So thank you very much for joining us, and we will be back soon right after the game. Have a